Hello, friends. So, in our scripture passage that's given for today, the disciples asked Jesus to share with them a teaching about how they might learn to pray. And Jesus gives them, of course, the very famous prayer that we now refer to as the Our Father, or the Lord's Prayer. When I was growing up in the church, there were only a few correct ways to refer to God or to address God. One could call God Father, one could call God Abba Father or Jesus, or simply refer to God as He, with capital letters, kind of like Prince. Calling God Mother or using any other non-masculine pronoun to refer to God in any way, shape, or form, well, it just wasn't done. And if you did do it, you would get a smackdown by the deacons or the pastor or somebody else in the church. Unfortunately, the biblical names for God that are in Aramaic, robust and expansive and fluid and beautiful words, are often translated, almost always translated into English using only masculine pronouns. And that not only excludes a great variety of gender identities and nuanced understandings, but it also domesticates the Our Father or the Lord's Prayer and really pulls it very far away from its Aramaic origins and from the beauty and expansiveness of its beginning and the multitudes of meanings that no doubt Jesus knew well in his native language and intended in this prayer. Our Father who art in heaven is only one translation of the beautiful phrase in Aramaic, Abun Debwashmaya, translated by Neil Douglas Klotz to mean, O birther, father, mother of the cosmos, O Father and Mother and child and friend, hallowed be your name. Holy is your very self showing up in us. Focus your light within us. Make it useful within. It is a wonderful prayer that reminds us of the fullness of the life that we embody and the fullness of the mystery beyond which limits of language and race and sexual orientation and gender identity, all of those roles that we might play with one another, the mystery of God incarnate is beyond all of that. So today is Father's Day, a day in the life of which we are living so fraught, so full of paradox and pain. And in the middle of all of that, I've been pondering all the ways that the source of all life, God, shows up for all of us. The Avun Debwashmaya shows up in this world and within us in all kinds of different ways and invites all of us to be born every day into who we are. We are, as a culture, in the midst of learning what that looks like in our racial identity, reminding ourselves that our faces, our colors, our races are embodiments. Black and brown bodies are embodiments of God, the Holy One. And in the middle of all of those considerations, and in the middle of also the fact that June is traditionally Pride Month, in the middle of the fact that we are celebrating and remembering Father's Day today with all that that means, I ask you a few questions for your consideration and in light of the prayer with its multitude of meanings that Jesus taught his disciples. Who has been an incarnation of grace for you in your life? All along your journey, who have been the mentors of your heart? Who have been people who have hurt you or disappointed you? Who was or who is a hero, a shiro, who helped to form you into you beyond the limitations of gender identity gender binaries, sexual orientation, races or roles. Who are the mentors of your heart? Maybe today, as you think about those questions, you automatically think of a father or fathers, plural, or persons who filled that role of father in your life, mother or mothers, grandparents or teachers or coaches, or others who helped to bring you as you are today into being, and without whose contributions you simply would not exist as you. Some of us have been blessed with very positive and beautiful and loving and active role models, mentors of the heart who have been present for us and who have helped us and formed us. And others of us have survived and thrived in spite of the absent or angry ones, the people who have injured us and whose contributions to our lives have been dangerous or painful. And for most of us, the truth is that our human relationships are a mix of all of those things, a mix of pain and joy, complex and nuanced. With regard to the notion posited in the Lord's Prayer that the nature of our Father and Mother, the birther of the cosmos, God, can be seen reflected in the qualities of human beings quite beyond our limitations and our limited understandings, I'd like to share with you a writing by one of my friends, Jody Hall Rogers. She is a rock star nurse, a hero, a wife, and a mom, and also is living into all the nuances of all the ways that God is working within and through all of us beyond the usual cultural expectations of parenthood. She and her wife, Elizabeth, have graciously given permission for their story to be shared with you today. Thank you, Jody and Elizabeth. Here is what she wrote. So last year was the best Mother's Day ever. Colin came to me and said, "Happy Mother's Day, Dad." I'm pretty sure that it's because of social norms that he calls me Dad. It's what he hears at school from his peers. It's what he sees on his TV shows and pretty much anywhere you turn. At first I thought I should try to correct him. Also, I wondered what people would think. But now I hope I'm Colin's dad for the rest of our lives. I'm proud to be Mom, but I'm over the moon to be Dad. It's what he chose, not us. It's how he sees me, which is terrifying. He sees me as his role model, someone to look up to, and that's the greatest Mother's Day present I could ever need. I fail him every day. I lose my patience, my temper, my mind. But Colin never stops seeing me, nor loving me, and needing his dad. I always wanted to have a child, but I knew early on that I didn't physically want to have one. I'm too big a wimp. But mostly it was because I'm gay. I figured society and life would just never allow me to become a mom. All very scary and realistic truths. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would get to be married, let alone become a parent. But not only did I get to be married to my best friend, but we were able to take the journey of becoming moms together. Elizabeth and I didn't accidentally get pregnant or half-heartedly think one day, oh, let's have a kid. It was years of wondering and then years of planning just how and which way to go in receiving the blessing of becoming parents, which is probably why now we're classified as geriatric mothers. Motherhood means so much more to both of us than just, oh yeah, we have a child. Becoming moms wasn't easy for us. We had much opposition from some, but through all the financial cost, the emotions, the loss of people in our lives, we fought side by side and are stronger for it. And it was worth every sacrifice. Isn't that what being a parent is all about? Sacrifice. We didn't have Colin so that he could be our servant. We had him so that he would share our lives. After all, he didn't ask to be here. We had him to share the very best parts of us, to put on hold or to share with him the desires we have for the rest of our lives. We know that we will mess up. We know that we will have times when we're not sure what to do. But one thing we know is that we will sacrifice our desires and our wants to make Colin's world the best we can, completely filled with laughter and life, and most of all, love. I'm so thankful to be a mom and to share that with the best mama that Colin and I could ever hope for. I can't imagine not being with my son and my wife every chance I get. I love you, Elizabeth and Colin, with all my heart. Happy Mother's Day, Dad. Though the circumstances may be different for each one of us, there are so many examples of the sacrifices and the contributions that good fathers and other mentors make to our lives and beyond and before we ever know or will ever realize. And it is so not about the label that we place on the role or the title that we call the person. It's about the love that is offered and the love that we receive and that we're privileged to give. In this beautiful scripture in Luke 11 that is given for today, Jesus pictures a friend at midnight who, when someone he loves shows up on the doorstep, does whatever he can. When the loved one asks, he gives. When the loved one seeks, she opens the door. And then Jesus goes on to describe how loving parents, loving caregivers give their children good things, needed and nourishing gifts, even if those humans themselves are not perfect. In this day, you and I may be reflecting upon the present or the absent father that we may have had or may have now, the role of father that we reflect upon that we have served ourselves, the role that we wish but was never given to us. We may also be considering new ways for us to be present, to be new examples to others, new friends, new mentors of the heart to others all around us, because it isn't too late. Knowing that you and I, no matter who we are or where we are on life's journey, may be for one another the face of God. Knowing that we may be conduits of grace and love and forgiveness, mentors, creating and recreating love in this very broken world. I reflect upon the lives of so many mentors out there in these hard times we're living in currently, those who parent children, children that are theirs, children that are not theirs, children who receive examples of others who are heroes and teachers and caregivers for them. People who through the years work hard, have worked hard, still work hard, and play with children and adults and teach them so that they're empowered and worthy, show others unconditional love and regard, Show them the face of God in person and now also virtually. On this particular day, I think especially of the young parents and all the young adults in this world who are pressing on against tremendous odds to make a positive difference, to change the violent culture, to alter, to invent, and to recreate our world in new and positive ways. Those whose spiritual and ethical and racial and rational minds are skilled and responsible and present and active, and how much I thank God that in the middle of all that we are going through with the pandemic, with racial injustice and violence, in the midst of all the sorrow of this day, that we are also witnessing those who are showing up to bring change. I think of middle-aged and older people who continue to serve as mentors in myriad ways. People who are giving every day of themselves through many years, who continue to do that work through sharing their hobbies, through sharing whatever memories they have, through telling stories and teaching, through helping students virtually who prepare them for the next right thing. Our gifts in this world, not just limited to our physical presence, our gifts in this world bring change. Bring change and influence and hope for other people through our example. Every day is a new opportunity for how we may bring hope to one another in the ways that Jesus is describing in this passage in Luke 11. Later on in Luke's gospel, Jesus tells the story of the prodigal son, the story of the loving father who is pictured much like I picture Jody and so many others to be. As dads, as moms, as friends, as mentors of the heart who, when the events are hard and the pain is great and the separation is long, are still running with open arms to meet the beloved. Jesus said, God is that one who welcomes. The nature of God is like this, embodied in us, no matter who we are. Embodied on this special day of mixed blessing, of grace and grief and gratitude, of rejoicing and repentance and regret, joy at memories, sorrow in loss, lingering pain still with us. In spite of that mixed and paradoxical reality, may it be that you and I are awake and available to the bounty of opportunity all around us, the overflowing chances to see and to experience the myriad ways that God invites us to be blessed by a gracious Creator and to walk in the company of good and courageous others. All of us in this together, all of us, catalysts of grace and love, no matter our name. Amen. Will you join me in prayers? May God bless you this day with discomfort. Discomfort at easy answers, half-truth, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of God's people, so that you may work for justice and peace and freedom. May God bless you with tears. Tears that you shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, and war. so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and to turn their pain into joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in this world, so that you can do, so that we can do together what others have said cannot be done. May we realize God's justice and peace and love in us this day. May it be so.